let's see. I don't even know where I am in the frame. I'm gonna do some things because this is somewhat improvised this time around. I have some thoughts. So I have some thoughts that I really want to share. I think that there's some validity in them. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So this is a little bit improvised, but it is a topic that I have wanted to talk about for a while. And it's just kind of been spurred on recently by some things I've been seeing around. But nonetheless, it's something that I've thought about a lot in the past. So basically, I need to make sure that I'm not rambling forever, because this is a topic that I could go on for a long time. And that's going to be a lot of editing. I don't know if I want to do that. But play around a little bit. So I want to talk about art. And this is something that I've enjoyed for a long time. It's part of my life. I'm going to school for it. I'm investing my future in it. And so it's important to me. That's kind of besides the point. But the thing is that art, I'm involved in it. I'm invested in it, and I care about it. And I feel like there's a little bit of a decline in the expectation for art. I feel like the standards are being lowered to some extent. It's weird, right? Because I keep seeing videos about people posting their portfolio reviews and seeing how high their scores are, how low they are, and the comparison, the gap between the highest and lowest scores seems very thin, very narrow. And I don't think that there's the debate that I'm thinking. What I'm considering, what I'm thinking of, is not art in general that's on a decline of expectation. And I don't even think that it's on a decline on a wide scale. I think generally people who are invested in art and pursuing their own projects, they're going to do well. I think art, from the perspective as a student, the expectation of students seems to be on a decline. And that's something that I'm experiencing as a student, as well as seeing happen on other places as well. It's not just in my own education, it's across the board, which seems really unfortunate. Because I see people doing their uploads, they're just yeah, this is my submission portfolio for this program, and I really wanted to get into it, and I passed or I failed. And like I said earlier, the gap between the pass and fail, or the highest and lowest scores, it doesn't seem very far in technical ability. But the thing that I'm noticing, a pattern, is that these students are prioritizing stylization over technical ability and demonstration of technical ability. And I need to be careful while separating the two, because they're not entirely different. They are separate in terms of learning. So I actually did write a script for this video about a year ago, but the script is outdated by now. I didn't have the right amount of drive to make that video at the time, and I didn't care enough about it. It's outdated, but this video was originally going to be a comparison and a contrast between anime and realistic art. Okay, I gotta set this straight really quick, because what I meant by that is not that anime is bad. I'm not going to detract from that at all. I love anime. It's great. I'm going to make a video about this, another one, more well thought out. But I mean stylization versus realism in animation, because rotoscoping is creepy. Animation in general needs to be stylized. So if you're seeing a submission portfolio for an animation school, it makes sense that something's going to be stylized. But to see stylization on the figure drawing portion is disappointing. I think this is where the separation comes in, because I think that every single medium is its own art form. There are different art forms out there, and Like, I know that there's a lot of stigma on some of them, but it needs to be held that those art forms are real. They're their own medium, and they need to be seen as that. The problem that I have is that if people are learning, if people are trying to improve in their artistic ability, I think that the pursuit of stylization while you're learning isn't always bad, but I think the prioritization of stylization as you're learning is detrimental to your progress. You should be pounding the fundamentals. You shouldn't be hitting the, oh man, my character design, this is what I want. Because your character design is just going to be better if you already know the fundamentals. You think about like experts in the fields, in any field, like they know the fundamentals because they've pounded them for years. They've just gone on and on those fundamentals. They've practiced the basics, they understand them, and then they move on to more and more complex things, and they keep mastering those things. But they don't forget the basics, because the basics are at the core of every single thing that you do. No, stylization isn't bad, but when you're trying to learn, that's not what you should be doing. I saw a lot of people in my program, and I'm like at the start of it. Like, we're at the intro right now, but I've seen a lot of people in my program. I'm just in my drawing 1 class. I'm in there, and we're doing self-portraits, and people are really just doing their own thing for it. And there's a lot of things that I could say about the structure of the program that allowed that I don't love. There are certain things that we weren't taught as well as we should have been, or at all. And I could see that coming through in my classmates and my peers. But the people that were stylizing are kind of a different case. Like, we're doing self-portraits, we're looking in a mirror, and we're drawing ourselves. And you get some of these portraits where the heads are just stretched really tall, right? And really thin. And just ignoring proportion. And for that assignment, that's not the purpose of it. I doubt that they were graded well. I doubt that they were seen in a good light by the professor, because they weren't following proportional skills that we had been advised to be following. And if I just drew a caricature for that assignment, I would have failed that assignment. I wouldn't have passed that assignment. I wouldn't have gotten a good grade, and I would have had to redo it because I missed the point. It's a big difference between stylization for your own fun or for your own projects and stylization while learning the fundamentals. And I think that's where the standards seem to be getting lower, is because so many people are just posting their own portfolios with stylized content. And it seems like very rarely, if ever, people are just submitting portfolios with finished, well-practiced, and well-executed technical drawings. I won't detract from the beauty and importance of stylization, especially in mediums like animation. Like, there is so much stigma on anime, and I think the stigma's dying out slowly, but like, it is its own art form, and like, it does really well when it does well. When it does bad, it's bad, but that's its own medium. That's how everything goes. Like, if there's a bad mug, it's a bad mug. There's a hole in the side of it. That's not done well, unless it was meant to be done. And I've seen very good examples of pottery done in counterintuitive ways. I'll post some pictures. I think Shot Pot is probably my favorite example. Fantastic artist who did that, by the way. But I think the purpose of the artist, if you can see that was their purpose, it's okay. But I'm going to dive too far into other topics that like don't need to be met right now. But like, it's really important to consider the intention of the artist, but as far as the practice of an artist goes, as far as their training and learning techniques go, I think that it's very important for artists to prioritize technical competency over stylized competency. Because if you have really good technical ability, then the stylization will follow. That's a guarantee, that's a promise. That's not, like, I won't detract from either side, but I think, like, as a student, that's not what your priority is.